Hi, my name is Pavel from On Time Contractors. I've been building houses since 2001, and today I would like to talk to you about how to build energy efficient homes. Homes that you will be comfortable living in, homes that you will enjoy, and homes that will save you money. So let's talk about a couple things. Number one, I wanted to mention that many people know that they could build houses according to building code, but not many of you know that building code is the minimum standard of construction. Those are the least expensive things that people need to do to build a house. So remember, code is the minimum standard of construction. Now let's talk about how we could make a home energy efficient. There are a couple things, and I'll go with you one by one, starting from the very beginning. This is a typical house that I drew. Left side represents a house construction built to code. Right one represents a home construction that is built beyond the building code. And we'll start from the very beginning, which is the basement and foundation. Typical home has a foundation. This is footing, this is drain tile. Code doesn't require any insulation between the concrete slab and the ground. As many of you might know, the ground temperature usually is pretty constant. In winter it's 46 degrees in Minnesota, in summer it's 54. Now imagine if you don't put any thermal bridging between the dirt and the concrete slab, your average concrete slab temperature would be below 60 degrees. So this uninsulated slab draws a lot of energy from your home, and you walk with your feet on the floor, your feet feel very cold. That's why many people install carpet in the basement, because carpet pad gives additional cushion to a homeowner so the concrete slope doesn't feel that cold. And what we do is we install rigid foam insulation, and this is an example of insulation right here. It's 2 inches thick, so this piece goes everywhere around the entire home foundation. Not only foundation, it goes above the footings, it's installed everywhere underneath the slab. And then we pour a concrete slab. Also, before 2014, it was not required to install exterior insulation around the foundation, but recently, only recently, building officials realized that home loses a lot of heat through the foundation. That's why when you come into a home that was built prior to 2014, especially older homes that have unfinished basements, you walk into the basement, you see cinder block wall, and it's really cold. You have 60 or 70 degrees upstairs, in the basement on a cold winter day will be approximately 45-50 degrees at the most. Now imagine how much energy does the foundation wall draws. So what we do, we put foam insulation. This product that I showed you, we put it on the outside of the foundation, and then we put dirt next to it. This foam creates a thermal bridging between the ground and the foundation, so your wall doesn't get cold. As you could see, foam insulation here and foam insulation here allows you to raise the concrete slab temperature down from 55 and 60 degrees to 65 and 66 degrees. So there is at least 10 to 15% gain in energy consumption. We're doing uninsulated slab and foundation versus insulated slab and foundation. Now let's go up to the second floor. Typical home construction includes 2x6s, framed 16 inches apart, and R21 fiberglass insulation installed between the studs, with plywood or OSB on the outside. People think that by installing fiberglass insulation, they have a continuous level of insulation around the entire perimeter of the home, which is incorrect because you have studs that are installed 16 inches apart. The resistance to the heat transfer of stud wall and insulation is a lot different. If insulation has resistance of 21, a regular 2x6 stud would have 2.2. Typical home would have a perimeter of about 200 linear feet. Now imagine you take 200 linear feet, approximately you will have 200 studs on each floor for outside walls, roughly. So if you combine those 200 studs and multiply by a thickness of 1.5 inches, which makes it 300 inches. 300 inches, which is approximately, not approximately, exactly 25 feet. Imagine 25 feet of a cold space on your wall for the entire house, which is from me to there, which is a lot of space. So you lose a lot of heat by putting regular fiberglass insulation between the studs, because heat transfers through the stud through a conduction method of heat transfer from the outside to the inside. That's why there is a company out there that is called ZipWall. They manufactured a new product that's been around for about 10 years, but not many builders using it because it's costly. I'll show you the example of this product. And this is how it looks like. It has OSB sheeting on the outside, which is covered with special adhesive that is resistant to water. Plus it has 1 inch of insulation on the inside. So what it does, when heat or cold air hits the stud wall, it gets through the insulation, but you will have a continuous insulation around the entire perimeter of the house. So this insulation acts as a thermal bridge between cold surface of the wall and the stud. That's why you have a continuous level of insulation around the entire perimeter of home. It's a very handy product. After this, we will go and visit the house that we're building right now at 5841 Abbott Avenue South in Edina, and I will show it to you all energy efficient features that I covered here in this presentation. So, our zip sheeting. Next thing that most builders don't do is we install R50 insulation in the attic. Code requires R39. The cost to upgrade from 18 inches of insulation in the attic to R50 is pretty minimal. It's under $2,000, but I will be rounding all numbers to the nearest thousand to make our calculations easier. Also, when you're building a home, try to put as few light fixtures in the ceiling as possible. Many people put a lot of can lights on the second floor, but the heat from your house leaves the house from the outside by going through the can lights. That's why I personally don't recommend installing can lights in the attic, on your second floor, or on the third floor if you have a 3-story home. I recommend putting regular light fixtures and make as few openings as possible. Unless you want to do a spray foam installation, you install can lights everywhere and you spray the entire area of the attic with foam insulation. Then you could put as many can lights as you want, so heat would not leave as fast as doing the regular fiberglass blown insulation. So I covered all energy efficient features in my drawing that we use from the outside. And to recap, we use under slab insulation, we use exterior foundation insulation, we use zip wall sheeting. Also, many builders, when they insulate the area between the floors, it's called rim joist, they either put fiberglass insulation, or some builders do spray foam insulation. Obviously spray foam insulation is better because fiberglass insulation is falling off, and it's not the best way, but I'm really glad that a lot of natural builders switched by doing spray foam insulation in the rim joist. It costs some extra couple $1,000, but they're building much better products. And my personal opinion is that features like under slab insulation, which is very inexpensive, on this sprayed rim joist, have to be a part of the building code in order to build better houses and save more money to people. Now let's cover other energy efficient features that we use on the inside. A typical home usually would have a furnace that is located in the basement. You have a thermostat on the main floor. This is your second floor. You set the temperature at 70 degrees Fahrenheit. On the thermostat, furnace kicks in, and the air temperature apparently approximately 70 degrees. Here could be 63 in the basement or less, depending on whether your basement is insulated or not. But on the second floor, where you don't have a thermostat, the temperature would be much lower because you will have a heat loss through the roof, heat loss through the outside walls. So what we recommend doing, we recommend installing zone system, which means we get high energy efficient furnace and we install dampers on each floor, as well as we install thermostats on each floor. One in the basement, one on the main floor, one on the third floor. And what you could do with the zone system, how it works, let's say most of the day you stay on the main floor and you don't go upstairs. Why would you want to spend money on heating up upstairs and the basement while most of the day you spend on the main floor? So what you do, you program temperature here at 65, here at 65, and on the main floor you could do 70 or 75, whatever temperature you like. And your furnace would be providing heat to reach the temperature at 70 degrees on the main level or other temperatures on the second floor in the basement. Don't you think it saves energy? Of course it does. So this is about the furnace. Obviously furnaces that we use, they are high energy efficient furnaces, and it's very important to know that furnaces also have to have dual motor system. What dual motor system or blower system does is it has two motors or blowers. One is small, second is large. So what it does, when you raise up the temperature in your house, large blower kicks in and it starts producing a lot of air. Okay? When the temperature reaches the desired level, the large blower stops working, and then small blower kicks in. It uses a lot less heat, and what it does, it keeps the temperature at the desired level, because most of the homeowners that have regular furnaces with single blower system don't like is when the temperature in their house goes down, all of a sudden the big furnace kicks in, boom, produces a lot of air, and it stays warm for 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, whatever it is. It shuts down and time passes by and then it kicks again, and it's very noisy, it's very inconvenient. That's why we strongly recommend to use a blower that has a dual blower system. Now let's talk about water heating and cooking. Many people use electricity to heat up the water, and many people use electricity to warm up their food. or use that for their stoves. I strongly don't recommend using electricity because last time when I ran calculations, the cost to heat a water heater to a desired temperature to heat the house with electricity is 3 times more expensive than using gas. That's why I strongly recommend using gas powered appliances versus electric appliances because they save a lot of money, 3 times less. Some people could say, oh, you could buy off-peak energy, do this and that. Yeah, people that have electrical baseboard heaters still paying a lot more for combined electricity bill than people that have gas appliances, gas furnace, gas dryer, gas range. Speaking of water heater, most builders install water heater in the basement. But most of the time, if you live in a 2-story home, people have showers on the 2nd floor. And if you come into the shower, let me draw you here so you get an idea. You come into the shower, you turn on the valve, and what you do is step outside and wait 30 seconds, minute, 2 minutes some cases, because the water has to travel all the way from the basement through the 1st floor, through the 2nd floor into your shower. Now look, you lost time, you drain a lot of water, which you wasted basically, and it's cost you more, right? What we recommend doing, we recommend installing water heaters next to the bathrooms. That's why you need to provide a good design and house plan for your home construction projects. Usually I put the water heater in the closet by the laundry room, if you have a laundry room on the 2nd floor, or by master bathroom. So when we go to visit the house in Abbott Avenue, I'll show you the location of the water heater. If you install water heater on the 2nd floor next to the bathroom, you turn on the shower valve and you have almost instant hot water. The water heaters that we used, they are Air Smith condensed water heaters. Typical water heater would have at least 75 gallons of water. The water heater that we use has only 40 gallons of water. You might say, oh, wait a second. If I'm using jacuzzi tub or I run 2 showers simultaneously, I will run out of hot water really soon. You're absolutely right. Only if you use a regular power vent water heater. You will run out of water if it's a 40-gallon water heater. But the water heaters that we use, they produce 3 times more hot water during the smallest period than traditional water heater. And what you're doing is you're saving energy by not warming up the water that you don't need. You have one option to use 75-gallon water heater and second option to use condensed water heater that is only 40 gallons. So you are warming up extra 25 gallons and keeping it warm while you are absent. And you do it day after day after day. Does it cost you more to do that? Yes. With condensed water heaters, you turn on the water, and because that water heater has a lot of burners, they produce 3 times more hot water than traditional water heaters. So you never run out of constant water. Some people like to use wall water heaters, on-demand water heaters, or instant water heaters. My personal opinion that they are not as good as regular water heater because you still have to wait before the water is getting produced. Plus, there are a lot of other implications that people that have them know about. You could do a research on the internet and you'll find many complaints from people. So, let's summarize everything that I mentioned. Or before we do that, let's talk about lighting a little bit. When you're building a house, you use regular bulbs or you use CFLs where you spend a little bit more money, $2, $3 per bulb. Regular CFL bulb produces 800 lumens of light. It consumes on average about 25 watts of electricity. I recommend using LED bulbs. I know they cost more. You could get an LED bulb that produces 800 lumens for $15. But some power companies would give you $5 rebate in order to cut the cost down of your bulbs. Typical house, I usually install about 200 light bulbs. Yeah, it sounds a lot, but if you count bedrooms, bathrooms, recess lights, on average you're going to have between 100 and 200. By switching from CFL bulbs to LED bulbs, I know you pay more upfront, but I calculated if you run your bulbs for 8 hours per day on average, you recoup the cost within less than 3 years, assuming that electricity prices do not go up. Alright? Now let's recoup everything I mentioned. Once again, building a house to building code means you are building the house to meet minimum standard of construction. Which house do you want to live in? The house that has a minimum standard of construction, or the house that is more comfortable to live in? Number one, use under slab insulation versus no insulation. Cost to do that on a 2,000 square foot home is about $2,000, maybe a little less. Zip sheeting. It's a outside sheeting that is installed and has a continuous level of insulation. Eliminates thermal bridging between outside and studs. This is the most expensive cost, about $9,000 more than regular construction. Third option, spray rim joist versus Thermax. Rim joist is the area where first and second floor meets, the second floor and the third, or if you have a basement. This area loses a lot of heat. So we recommend doing spray foam insulation and rim joist. Cost is about $2,000. Number four, R50 insulation in the attic versus R39, which is the code requirement. Cost about $1,000. Better windows. Many people would think that it would cost a lot of money to upgrade from cheap vinyl windows to good windows. I personally use L-side windows. They have triple pane glass, or Anderson 100 series. They have very strong frames and very good insulated glass. For me to upgrade on a typical 2,000 square foot house from cheap vinyl windows to better quality windows, I would pay about $5,000. Alright? So better windows versus cheap windows. Number six, using high energy efficient appliances. Furnace 95% or higher, zone furnace system, and air conditioning units that also designed to operate with dual stage motors. Cost about $5,000, $5,000 to $6,000, depending on the brand of the furnace that you choose. Number seven, using condensed water heater that is only 40 gallons, but it produces 3 times more water than this guy because it has a lot of burners. So you're not wasting money by heating up the water that stays in the tank. Imagine not paying for 25 gallons of water being heated for 30 years. On average, water heater gas consumption is about $30 per month. For 50 gallon, maybe $35 for 75 gallons. So you'll save $10 every month by switching water heaters only. Number 8, using LED bulbs versus condensed bulbs or CFLs. I mentioned cost is about $10 per bulb. You need 200 bulbs on the average house, maybe less, $2,000. Number 9, energy efficient appliances. And use only gas appliances, not electric. Stove and dryer has to be gas if you want to save money. Extra cost about $2,000. I pulled some data from the Department of Energy website, and I found out that the average home in the United States consumes about $6,000 worth of energy per year. $6,000. That's a lot of money. Here we added up all energy efficient features, and approximately they came down to $30,000. For $30,000 more, you could build a house that you will love, where you will spend less money on heating and cooling it. You will be comfortable working on the floor. You will be comfortable sleeping. You will not have any differences in room temperatures from first floor to the second floor. Plus, the neighbors will be jealous, trust me. How do I know that? Thus, if we run a cost-benefit analysis, estimated savings from all these features approximately 33 to 35%. So if you take that amount, which is $2,000 in savings, which is 33% of total energy consumption, the payback is 15 years. 15 years seems like a lot of time, all right? But we made an assumption that energy prices will never rise when we did this calculation. Based on your experience, do you know that energy prices stayed constant for 15 years? You guessed it right. Thus, to summarize everything, I want to mention 3 benefits. Number 1, you will have lower energy bills by building houses beyond building code. You will feel more comfortable living in homes that are built by using these energy efficient features. Number 3, less pollution for the environment. That concludes my presentation. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later today on the house that we're building right now.